Greenfield Village covers about 80 acres of land here in Dearborn, and we have about 100 buildings here in the village. Many of them are open for you to go through and explore a little bit. And many of them also have presenters inside who will be happy to talk to you about the building and about the people who have even lived or worked at these locations. Now we do have 7 historic districts here in the village. He was born in one of the upstairs bedrooms on July 30th of 1863. Now Henry was the oldest of 6 children who belonged to the Ford family. And you can see down here in the main street, you see loading dock where you can catch a ride on one of our Model Ts. And we're now coming into the Thomas Edison and Work District, and you can see a statue of Thomas Edison on the left-hand side. He's seated, and he's probably thinking about his next. Left is the Fort Myers Laboratory, and this is the original building. And this is where Edison continued to do research and development while living in Florida. And we're coming into the Churches and Parlors District. Here we have a number of buildings where people have lived in over the years, and they all give you some ideas about the lifestyles and traditions of the people who lived in them.
Was it this where we're going to get off?
The plantation. Now the reddish-colored building on our left is the Clifton family home. It's the oldest American-made home here in the village, built in 1640. It was located in South Sudbury, Massachusetts. And you can imagine this, 2 adults and 7 children lived in that one-room building. And here's a Ferris windmill, the oldest windmill in the United States. It was built in the mid-1600s and was located on the north shore of Cape Cod. And here's the Daggett farmhouse, built in 1734. And we do have presenters in the around the track out there. And on the right-hand side, in front of us a little bit, you can see that large barn-like building. That is the practice facility for the Detroit Lions. And I'm going to stop talking here in a few moments, but before I do that, you might want to imagine what it might have been like back in the late 1800s to ride a train that's being pulled by a steam locomotive. Sitting on the left-hand side of the train, you may have seen the locomotive. In fact, it just did it at the end. That's what we call a blowdown. And right now we're coming into the Oxbow area. This is an elimination.
Here goes our conductor, Tom. We thank you, Tom, for being here today and helping out. We are now in Railroad Junction District, and the Split Street depot that you see on your left is from a small town that was located about 10 miles west of Fort Myers, Michigan. It was built by the Grand Trunk Railway back in 1858. Across the street we have our Edison Illuminating Power Plant. Young Henry Ford had his first professional job as a steam engineer at that building. And then we have our Detroit Central Marketplace, the open market from Detroit. This is now used as our special events place. Coming up tomorrow, this weekend, we have special with Thomas the Tank Engine. He's sitting over there on the side of our Detroit Toledo Milwaukee Roundhouse. It was built in the year 2000. Lake that's pulling our train right now. They both are tank engines. That to our working farms district where you can enjoy the sights, sounds, and smells of a real working farm. Our staff are dressed in period clothing like that of 1880, and they're carrying out chores like they would on a farm back then. The farmhouse up ahead is the birthplace of Harvey Firestone, built in 1823 from Columbiana, Ohio. He was the person who supplied Henry Ford with tires for the Model T cars. In the barn we have sheep, we have hay that's growing, and on the right some wonderful crops. A variety of crops are growing. And as we come into the Firestone station, over to the left, we have winter wheat. The engineer will set a brake, giving us the sound of a single whistle, letting us know it's safe to come off the train. Should you be getting off at this time, you'll exit to your right side. We're going to be here for about 8 minutes before we move on for our last time around the village.
Coming down the hill.
Now, when we were up by Menlo Park, we may have noticed a fenced-in area, and that is going to be the future site of the Jackson House from the Selma.
We'll say goodbye to Bob here for getting us out on time. We'll now begin our journey of 2.5 miles around the village with our first stop in our Purchase of Commerce district at Susquehanna Station. The great building we're passing by was Henry Ford's soybean laboratory. It's here that he perfected a paint that was used on his Model A cars that had a soybean oil base. And the family raised sheep. If you ever get a chance, stop by the farmhouse. You can go inside and see what life was like for Henry growing up here as a young boy. Right home, great bicycle shop, and our frozen custard ice cream stand.
Oh yeah, we didn't have that last time.
Oh, it opens that one.
We're now coming up to Menlo Park. This was Thomas Edison's laboratory in New Jersey. He's credited with Menlo Park here. The yellow house on the left there is the Sarah Jordan boarding house. This is where all the single young men that worked for Edison would stay and live. It was one of the first buildings that he had electrified. We're now coming up to the Eckley Bridge. This is our gateway into our Purchase of Commerce district. From Susquehanna Station, you can go up the hill into Noah Webster's home. 25 years to complete. Or you can stroll down Maple Lane to see all the homes here in the village. You can even go into our Susquehanna plantation, which comes from Tidewater, Maryland, originally comprised of 700 acres. And in 1832, their principal crops were corn, wheat, and tobacco. You can even stroll around Cotswell Cottage, or go down the end of Maple Lane to see our windmill and colonial Daggett farmhouse.
There's 4 babies.
And we're now entering the Railroad Junction District here at Greenfield Village. And the first building you can see here is our Smiths Creek Depot building, built in 1858. It was located in a small Lincoln town, Smiths Creek. That's roughly 8.5 miles southwest of Port Huron, and was on the Grand Trunk Railroad line that ran from Detroit, or from Port Huron down to Detroit and back up to Port Huron. Now this is a typical small town depot building. Station master and his family would actually live in half the building. The other half would be open to the public, and that's where you buy your tickets for the train, or perhaps pick up any mail or packages the train may have dropped off for you. Now our newest addition to Greenfield Village was that open-air market on our left. That's the vegetable building. It was built in 1861. It was located in downtown Detroit as part of the Detroit Central Market. They used to sell fruits, vegetables, and flowers out of that location. Now for your information, at the far end of the vegetable building is our newest restaurant, Stand 44. It's a great place to go for lunch and snacks while you're here at Greenfield Village today. And we're coming up to our little craftworks area from the other side of the pine trees to our left. Here we have still our 7.5 acres that we plow and corn, winter wheat, rye, and hay. And to the right you can see our Firestone farmhouse, and behind that is the Firestone barn. And the farmhouse was built in 1848 in Dearborn, Ohio. And at the beginning of the country, and you hear the engineer blow the whistle. Alright, please remain seated. It is now safe to stand in exit on the right side. And this is by the name